I'll just starting again.
You're gonna kill me, Ebony. All right.
Take two. All right. Let's do this again.
Take two with Ebony. At least I thought I had a leg to stand on before, a reason to be annoyed with you. You got me beat, man. What is going on here?
You're killing me.
All right, take two with Ebanie Bridges. Ebony. You're gonna have to remind me of all the shit we talked about before that I didn't record. But I'm gonna say this. You know what? I spoke to another Aussie. You mentioned coffee somewhere in this whole story. Jason Maloney said you guys don't even have Starbucks in Australia. You don't like it.
No, it's yeah.
And I said, well, so what's so great about your coffee over there? What place do you have that's better? He said everything. Every coffee in Australia is better. Explain this to me. This is blasphemy. What do you guys got going on over there?
I don't know, man, but you guys can't make coffee for shit. The coffee tastes like fucking dog's ass. I can't wait to get home from when I come to America. I can't wait to get home and have a coffee. Coffee is so bad. I mean, yeah, like even Starbucks don't know how to make fucking coffees. Like it's the way you cream the milk. Like yeah, like you guys have like that brewed coffee.
I gotta try this Australian coffee. I can't imagine that you guys have us beat in that department. But I gotta try it. I'm gonna have to go down there. Like, what are there, like 5,000 Starbucks? I've never heard of an Australian chain. What do you guys have? What's the biggest one?
Probably Gloria Jeans, but we don't really have chains of like coffee shops like that. It's more like we just got cafes everywhere, which make the best coffee. It's all cafes. There's cafes everywhere. It's what we do in Australia. We go to cafes, and you wouldn't go to a Gloria Jeans or like a what would you call it, a franchise coffee shop for a coffee, really. Yeah.
You just wouldn't even. You guys are just like, I'm not.
There's better places. Yeah, there's better places than franchise stuff. Like going to like a Gloria Jeans or even like a Starbucks. We do have Starbucks. There's Starbucks in the city. I don't know about Brisbane where Maloney's are from, but in Sydney we have Starbucks, and it's like going to McDonald's for coffee. Disgusting.
He might get that Inoue fight. What do you think about that?
A good fight. I mean, tough fight.
Right.
He's, I like Jason. I love his style. I just think that, yeah, man, he's no Inoue.
He'd be in tough. He'd be in tough for sure. I don't think, I don't
think it'd be a full pushover. I think it would be competitive. But, yeah, I don't think, I hate to say it against the Aussies, but I don't see him coming out with a win with that one. But I think he'll still be impressive, and he's pretty tough. He's strong. He's but Inoue he's a monster. So look how he was against Donaire. Like I mean, that fight was, and Donaire's like, he was on fire. He's old, but he was on fire.
Right,
like he was
right,
still
right.
like he was like the old Donaire.
Right.
It wasn't. So he came in there like with flair. Probably the best he's been in years, and. He still beat him, and I don't know, Maloney doesn't have that experience, and whatever. It'd be a great fight. It'd be a good fight for Aussie boxing, anyways, to get these boys on some shows against some good fighters.
Ebony, we screwed the pooch before. You were telling me this beautiful story about what you do for the kids and this and that, and I don't know how to get back there, but I'm gonna ask you, man. I know you're a teacher. There's been a bunch of write-ups about it. Let's talk about that real quick. I want to add that, you know what? I was one of these kids. I was one of these kids that the bus comes, it picks you up. It's a tiny bus because there's not many, jerks in my town, but it would go pick up all the jerks of the town and then take us like to the suburbs, and then we would go and they would, you give us very easy work to do. They didn't want to confuse us too much, but we would learn how to, they would get us ready to go back into the normal school setting. And it was, some of the best teachers I met were, in those settings, in those kind of settings. So,
that's fantastic. And, to work with, like, we call them like obviously disadvantaged kids, not disadvantaged because they're from like low socioeconomics, poor families, families like Aboriginals. I work with a lot of Aboriginal kids and Islander kids, refugees, all these kind of kids that are disadvantaged. They're not like your middle class or upper class kind of families or from backgrounds. You know what I mean? They come from could be bad homes, domestic violence, drugs, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I work with a lot of kids like that. And yeah, I run boxing programs for the girls, the girls in particular, disengaged girls, to help them with their confidence, and like anger management, these kind of things. Just like teach them not like a teacher, but like as a coach, and try and life coach them, if anything. That's what I do with the boxing classes. And in class, like while I'm in class, I just the main thing is that they have someone that they know believes in them, because I do believe in them, and I set their expectations high, because like you're saying, like a lot of the times with those kind of kids, teachers or people in general, they just write them off straight away, and they're like, no, they can't do it, or they're not at that level, they're dumb, or whatever, and these kids hear that enough, and they start believing it. So I have like banned words in my classroom, which is like, they're not allowed to say I'm dumb, they're not allowed to tell anyone else they're dumb, they're not allowed to say I can't, and they're not allowed to say it's too hard, because it's not, none of it's true. It's just that they need to apply themselves, and they need to keep working really hard. You can do anything that you want as long as you put your mind to it. You can try hard. You can, it might take you longer than some of the other kids, but if you want something, you can do it. And I really, when I'm teaching my maths, like that's it. Like I drill that into them. And all my kids are different levels, and I give everyone a goal to set, like, because everyone is different. As long as they feel like they're achieving and they're getting success, I think that's really, really important. And to show them that, yeah, like, it's possible to be successful, because a lot of the backgrounds that these kids come from, they haven't seen real life in flesh success, so for them to see a teacher like me, for example, who travels and also come from a very, not disadvantaged, but, I came from a bad school, and I went through a lot of stuff in my teens. So for me to bring myself out of that, and now to see, hey, look, actually I'm successful now, and, I can do this. I think it's a bit of real reality for them. Like, hey, actually, like it's possible. Where, I mean, a lot of teachers just go teach and go home. Like there's not much going on outside of teaching and home. So to have someone in the school that, can inspire them, to show them that there's a lot of things, I suppose. I always give them little motivation speeches.
And no, well, you know what though? I think that I would normally have like a little joke or a little snazzy comeback here, but you know what though? I think that number one, right? I think that it's important that the person that's teaching the kid comes from, maybe it might not be the same exact situation, but you have to have some sort of life experience, right? I found that
understanding, yeah.
Right. So I found that, like, as a kid, the teachers that didn't have any of that, the teachers that were coming from places that, weren't similar to my lifestyle, we just didn't get along. And the truth of the matter is that the teacher has all the power in the situation, because they can just say, we're not getting along because he's not listening, as opposed to we're just not the same kind of people.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's important that, listen, even if you grew up a millionaire, which I know that's not the case, you're a fucking fighter, right? You know what I mean? Like, so the kids could at least get behind that.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. And I had something else to add about that though too. Yeah, I think these kids just have, when you grow up under those circumstances, it's also not cool to be smart, I think. And there's a lot of pressure to act like an idiot, and to like not raise your hand, and to like, even if you know the answer, like, 45 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but you can show that you can be tough.
I love that you bring that up, because that's another thing that I try and break, is the stereotypes. Obviously breaking stereotypes that, hey, like all maths teachers or all people that are smart or in maths or whatever, just in general, like they're nerds, right. Like, or, they're men. Like, for example, like I try and show the girls, hey, guess what, girls? It's okay to be smart. Like, it's okay, like it's not bad. And like the kids in my class, when I first started teaching them, they had so much non-belief in themselves. Like I was so upset. Like I hear so many kids, like the amount of times I heard them say I'm dumb, or I'm dumb, miss, I can't do it, it's too hard, I'm dumb. I broke my heart. I'm like, who is telling you that you're dumb? Like, you're not.
I'm 36, Ebony. You've probably heard me say that 50 fucking times. I say it all the time. You know,
But I
people are
hate
like,
that.
you're not dumb, you know, but
Yeah.
and no, I'm saying like I agree though. Like I don't know where I got that in my head or whatever, and I don't know where I found that it's acceptable to say, but you know, it is something.
Yeah, definitely. Well, these kids, I don't let them talk negative about themselves. They're not allowed. One of my, I actually have at the bottom of my classroom rules, and they recite my rules. It's almost like an anthem. Every time they come into my classroom, they have to say it, and they all know it, and they have to tell me what the rules are to set the expectations of the classroom. And every time I go in the classroom, if they start playing up or if they hear anything that's out of the rules, I say, hey guys, like, what's my rule? Like, don't speak while I'm talking, or don't talk why your classmates answering a question, or you're not allowed to say they're dumb. I'll have my students say, miss, blah blah, said that he's dumb, and he's not allowed to say that he's dumb. I go, no, he's not. I go, stop saying that you're dumb and that you can't do it. You're not allowed to say that. Like, it's not, you're not allowed, because it's not true. Right. The only thing that's stopping you is your effort. So, and they put in really hard work, and I commend them on all. And I always give them like a speech, obviously before exams and after exams, because they might not be great in exams, but they work really hard in class. And it's just that sometimes pressure and stuff doesn't work. Can cripple people in exams. And I just tell them always, like, I buy them lunch and stuff. Okay, whichever kid, I go, whoever passes, okay, I go to them, if you pass, or if you do a lot better than your last exam, then you get free lunch, mate.
What do you guys get? Mackie D's?
Nah, just something like from the canteen, or like even like pizza sometimes. I bring in treats. I give them whatever, like the kids, they love food. But or I bribe them with my boxing. Like, I'll say, all right guys, if you do really well today, then
show your combo.
Yeah, I'll show you. No, I'll put some on my YouTube. I'll put some of my fights up, or my training, or
nice.
Sparring, or anything like that. But they love it. So, and you got to be real with them. Like, they're the kind of kids that they see real, and they know when you're full of shit. And I think it's really important when you're a teacher, and I see it all the time, obviously, because I work with a lot of teachers, to be just as excited to come in and teach as you want them to be to learn. If you go into the classroom and you don't want to be there, they fucking feel that, man, and they don't want to be there. If you're like all excited, yes, it's Friday, I can't wait, finally the week's over. They're feeling the same on a Friday because you're vibing that, and it comes back, and they turn into terrors on a Friday. Same thing, like coming up to holidays. Like, how you are as a teacher, it reflects the students.
Well, I believe that. You know what, man? I was telling my wife that the other day, because she's also a teacher. You know what I mean? And I was we were like having some sort of conversation or something to that effect. And I said, listen, this is just my theory, but I feel like teacher, specifically as it relates to women, is a job that you get a lot of lazy women. You get people that are looking at it saying, I get the summer off. I'm in at 7 o'clock. I'm out at fucking 2. I swear to God, Ebony, I don't know if that's the culture in Australia. That's what it is in America. That's how some of these people think. I get the summer off. I'm out of here at 2:30, whatever. And that's how they teach. It comes off in the way they teach, I would imagine, because it's just like, okay, I don't know what to do after I leave college. I'm going to get out, get this degree, and whatever. Let the chips fall where they may. They have no passion for it. It's an easy job to get.
It depends. If you want to be a good teacher, it's really not easy. It's so much more work.
No, I'm saying like it's an easy job. Like it's easy in the sense of like getting your degree, taking whatever alternate route classes you got, and becoming a teacher, as opposed to being a teacher. Just like you could be you could call yourself a fighter, but
yeah,
right,
yeah, but you're just a gym fighter. Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. No, I get that, 100%. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but there's a lot of good teachers out there, and I'm happy to. I believe I'm one of them.
That was the point, to highlight that you are one of the good ones.
Yeah. It's because I'm very passionate passionate about helping people. I'm very passionate about the people around me being successful, friends, kids, students, whatever. I just want everyone to be successful and be doing their best. I think it's really important for people to see their potential and go for it.
Ebony, we were talking about how lit Twitter is, how much we love it. I wanted to ask you, we're going to go back to that, but I did want to ask you, I saw a little bit of like a back and forth debate on Twitter It was female boxing related. Should females be sexy? Should they not? This it was so. Fill me in. What happened there? What was this debate about?
I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, but apparently you can't really mix sexy with sport. It's a big no-no. What I've realized is that it seems to be okay. I mean, for some reason, I get a lot of stick for it when I'm not even actually really doing much. Like, all I'm doing is posing in my weigh-ins, wearing tights in training, and, doing a few videos while I'm in the sauna. Clearly, I'm not covered up. Like, I mean, I'm in the sauna. I'm going to wear a fucking jumper in sauna. Like, I don't never post photos of me at the beach or post photos of me laying on my bed with my ass out. I don't do this kind of thing. Everything that I post is sport related. But it seems to be stirring up a lot of conversation. But I think the problem is just that there's a lot of people out there that they don't like the fact that maybe I'm not trying. I don't need to try, and I'm getting attention for it. And I think it's just people get jealous because unfortunately looks is something you're born with. You can pay for it. But, not everyone has it. So not everyone can use it. So it's, these other people might be disadvantaged. Sorry, I look good. Like, that's the problem, I've never seen another, really pretty, beautiful girl or whatever slag me. It's always, I don't know, insecure men or women that have no fucking clue.
That's what it'll be, though. It'll be the men. I'm sure it's the chicks. But as a chick, like, the obstacle in coming at you would be...
No.
Hold on. As a chick, the obstacle would be, this chick is a hater. Because you could look at it. You could say, okay, this is her, this is Ebony. Oh, it's clear why she's talking shit. As a dude, it's a little bit more sinister. Because let's just say the dude's good looking, but he's just a fucking nerd. Or he wants to be with, whatever. It's a little bit more gray, I think.
There's a lot of male feminists out there as well. It's this whole thing about wanting to have respect for the sport, but why not have respect for yourself? Why not just accept people for how they are? And I got people slagging me off that are a lot worse. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, have you gone and look at your photos? The only difference is that they're not hot, but they're trying to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Sorry that you try really hard, but you're still not good. Like, I mean, and then I see a lot of girls like in bikinis in the beach and just, showing their ass and stuff. And they don't get no cut. They don't get no slag over it. There's no conversations or debates about it. There's no YouTube conversation interviews about it. There's no articles about it. But here I am posing in my underwear at weigh-ins or training in tights because I have a fucking nice ass. And apparently it's like, ooh, wow, look at Ebanie Bridges. She's bad. She's using her looks and shit. I'm like, fuck, if you had them, you'd use them too, honestly.
Ebony, I don't see, listen, because I'm a professional, I don't see asses or boobs or even your beauty. I can't even tell what you look like. Who are you?
That's even another thing, right? Is that these people are so fixated on my looks and my boobs and whatever, the ones that are hating and judging me, that they can't see past that and actually see who I am and my boxing skill. So who's the real problem? Like, you know what I mean? I got all my fans and that, and they all can see past all that. They don't see that because they're seeing deeper beyond my looks. But the other people just, all they see is that. They just get jealous or they hate or they're so closed-minded that they don't see beyond it. And I just feel sorry for them. Like, but it is what it is. I don't care. I'll keep being me and I'll keep looking fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I don't think you have much of a choice in the matter. There was a fight this weekend. What's your take on it? Braekhus and what's the other girl? Oh, Mcasskill. Did you catch that?
Yeah, of course. What did I think of that? Honestly, I thought it was a messy scrap. I respect both. I respect all girls. I respect everyone in women's boxing. And Mcasskill did the fight. I suppose she had to fight because Braekhus is a class boxer. She's a boxer. She didn't really seem like she was herself, to be honest. but Mcasskill made it really, really difficult for her and just roughed her up and did the windmills and went all like crazy, wild, messy, swinging punches. And it obviously put Braekhus off her game a little bit. You know, took her a little bit to get into it. It took her like half the fight to really start boxing and adjusting to what was going on. They both looked really tired and gassed out by like the 4th, 5th round. It was quite a contrast to the previous fights that have been happening, you know, female fights, I should say.
You're speaking like from a technical aspect, like
like you know, you look at Terry Harper versus you know, Natasha Jonas. Beautiful skill there, like beautiful display of boxing. Even, you know, that Shannon Courtney and Ball, that was a good boxing. You had Kim Clavel, you know, against her opponent, beautiful class boxing. And then, you know, the pound for pound Braekhus coming into fight, you know, young Mcasskill. And it was just like a really scrap, you know. It was a contrast it was a very big contrast. But in the end, you got to do what you got to do to win. And I think maybe I honestly haven't seen Mcasskill fight before, so I don't know if even that's how she actually always fights. It wasn't how Braekhus usually fights. And I'm not sure if that's when I was looking at it, thinking, is it because she's with Abel Sanchez now that she's fighting like she's not boxing, like she should be boxing, you know, like picking her off and boxing and moving around and doing what she does, beautiful straight punches and clean shots, you know. I actually thought I did think that Braekhus won, to be honest. But it was such a close fight that you know, you're not disappointed either way. But yeah, I mean, I think, and I just take my hats off to the way Braekhus kind of, you know, her post-fight speech and the way she showed so much respect to Jess, and they both, you know, so much respect for each other. And that's one thing, I mean, it happens in male boxing, but women's boxing is a lot like that. I think there's a lot of respect because we're all kind of fighting for each other, you know, in a sense.
Do you expect that we'll see her fight again? I mean, after the fight, she announced her retirement, like
semi-retirement. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think so. It looked like she didn't really want to be in there. You know, it didn't look like a Braekhus for no. She might come back. She could come back. But yeah, I don't see it. It sounded like she wasn't too interested. She didn't look like herself. You know, I don't know. Like, you know, again, it's hard. It's COVID times. You know, it affects a lot of the fighters, and everyone in general. So, who knows? I would like it to see her come back. I don't like her to go out on a loss like that. So, but hey, she's got to do what she's got to do.
It's not like, I know people probably look at your record, and if they don't know much about female boxing, they would say, oh, she's probably got a long time before she's fighting for like a world title. When in reality, I mean, we see female fighters fight for world titles, 7 fights, 8 fights.
Mcasskill's 8-2. She
Right.
was 8-2, and she's now undisputed. She's got like freaking 6 belts hanging off her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, there's opportunities.
I mean, you're with Split T. You are. We just spoke about it. You're not bad to look at. It's something that could happen.
And I can
think.
fight.
Right. But you're. So I would imagine that being with Split T, insinuates that. But you know, it's something that's like not far away. I mean, obviously, COVID is a roadblock, but you know, you thinking about that? Like,
yeah,
you thinking when you watch when you watch a fight like what you saw on Saturday, and you're watching it and you're saying, man, from a technical aspect, this does not look like the best thing. And also you're wondering why she's not doing certain things. So I would imagine that you're envisioning this in your own head, what you would be doing. You know, how do you like your odds?
I mean, look, it's easier said than done. We can all sit back and be couch judges, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'd still need a couple more fights. My last fight was a good step up fight. You know, obviously Split T, they know what they're doing as well with my fights. But I would say I can, you know, I'd be definitely ready. You know, I'd like to be ready for a world title within the next 5 fights. But at the same time, my division's pretty heavy. I've got to look at who the world champions are in my division, and it's not, you know, like there's a lot. You think that it's competitive because we seem to see these bigger girls, like, you know, at the 130, 135, 140, 147. You see these girls and you think, oh, it's you know, you think it's competitive. You come down lighter, it's way more competitive lower. It's so much competition in the lighter weights. You know, I was just talking to Kim Clavel about it. Like, you know, super bantam, bantamweight, super bantam, featherweight. Like there's a lot of competition, especially all the Argentine.
Well, that's what I was gonna. I'm glad you said it first, but I was gonna say, you know, you got the Mexican girls down there. They tend to be a little bit more pequeña, as they would say, and
pequeña, yeah. But
you know,
you know, it's you know, a lot of experience down there. Those girls have been, you know, same thing. You know, like Barbie Juarez, she's been boxing for 20 years. I don't know how many world times she's defended a world title, or how many world title belts she has. You know, same as, you know, Daniela Benavides from Argentina. You know, there's just so much quality there. I'd be just privileged to share the ring with them, but I definitely need, you know, I would say to even want to challenge them or be up there, I think I'd need at least another 5 fights. You know, but the WBA is vacant, so that could be something I'd be looking at.
You know what? I just reminded myself or remembered an Ebanie Bridges fact. I don't know if any of the fans know this. Let's see. Do they know that you speak Portuguese?
Yeah. I think some people know that I speak Portuguese.
Give us a little sampling. Let's go. What do you got?
I hate it when people ask me to say something.
Say anything. Say something.
I don't know.
How was your week?
Okay, oh. ¿Cómo es su semana?
¿Cómo es? That's Spanish. Give me.
It's the same.
Oh, is it really? Oh, what do they say? Like, they say, like, do it again. Do it again.
¿Cómo está su semana?
No, yeah, but that's what it is. There's that. When you say su, I heard that Portuguese. It's like, su it, see it.
Su.
Yeah.
¿Cómo está su semana?
Okay.
Está su semana. I don't know, yeah. Is Portuguese too? I mean, Spanish too?
It's tu, like tu.
¿Cómo está tu semana?
¿Cómo está? Yeah, it's like tu semana.
It's so similar.
Or even if it was su, it would have been su, but like not whatever. Yeah. I don't even. Yeah. That's such a weird sound to me.
The lingua.
Yeah, the linguistics.
Yeah.
Eb. So what the heck, man? I saw you put a tweet out there yesterday. You're talking about ditching town. You're talking about maybe packing your bags, and you know, because I know that things are going crazy out there. You got kangaroos roaming the streets with guns and it's nuts. So what's the deal, man? Like, how much? Because I'm sure when this whole thing first started, you were probably like, all right, how long could this last? 2 months, a month, you know, 3. It's like we're 6 months in. So
yeah.
How much more you willing to wait?
Yeah, well, I had a fight booked for September that's just been pushed back now because we've got the second wave in Australia. So now we have our second wave of COVID. We were like 3 weeks like, or something like this, of no COVID. And now I've got our second wave, which has come back 3 times. We have 3 times the amount of deaths in the last 3-4 weeks than we did in the first 5 months. So it's come back pretty hard. So now they're closing. All the borders are closed. You can't leave your state. You can't leave the country. If you leave the state, I mean, there's options that not options, but there's possibility that I could fight in another state. The only problem with that is that when I fly into another state, I have to spend 2 weeks, or 14 days mandatory quarantine in a hotel with guards, police, and army outside your door.
What is wrong with you people?
Making sure you don't leave your room. So if you have a hotel room with no balcony, no window, then you get no fresh air for 14 days. Not on top of that, you also have to pay $3,000 out of your own pocket for the food and being in that hotel for 14 days. So that's, if I was to fly into another state for a fight, I'd have to do that. And then when I finish my fight, I have to fly back into my state and do the same. 14 days, another $3,000 of staying in a hotel room, not allowed to leave the actual room.
So you would lose. So you'd be losing, like you'd probably be losing money at some point, right?
It'll cost me $6,000, and you know, I'm getting offered like pennies here. You know, this excuse, oh, it's COVID, it's female boxing.
Yeah, right.
It's not when people here that offer me fights, I tell them how much I got in America, and it wasn't that much. It's female boxing, and then they tell me, oh well, it's Australia, it's not America, and I'm like, so that means you have to fucking pay me less, like,
Doesn't it cost more to live in Australia? Don't you need like? It does, right?
Yeah, it's expensive as yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be able to buy one fucking fish taco, let alone
yeah.
Wow, that sucks, man.
Promoters are tight asses, but at the same time, boxing's not really big here, so because boxing's not big, you can't really expect to get much revenue. But yeah, I mean, I spoke to David. He said he just signed that deal with Teofimo, so I know they've got some fights happening over there.
Folks, Ebanie Bridges loves to chop it up on Twitter. Her Twitter handle is at Blonde Bomber?
Nah, Ebanie Bridges.
At Ebanie Bridges. That's where you find her. There's one. Is it which one is the weigh-in one? It's the world famous picture. But you know the one I'm talking about?
Oh, I mean, I weigh in my lingerie. So.
No, yeah, but there's the one clip that everybody's, it's.
That was. I think everyone went crazy about that because when I first joined Twitter, that was the most recent weigh-in, the one when I fought in America. So It was the most recent photo that went around. But it does look good. I was wearing a really nice red lacy lingerie, and I know how to do a front double bicep.
So if you've ever, I gotta learn that. I know how to. You know what I know how to do? I know how to do the back thing.
Yeah, the lat spread.
Yeah, I know how to do that. Anyways, if you're ever even looking at boxing Twitter, you've seen her before. Ebanie Bridges, follow her, talk to her. And I had a blast.
Yeah, I love fan interaction. I love interacting with the fans. Say hi. I always say hi back. So it's good.
I had a blast, Ebanie. I can't wait to see you fight again, man. I'm a fan. I'm always in your corner. So
yeah, you're a legend.
Let's
Thanks
get it going.
so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Hey, there you go. All right, champ. I'll see you. Bye.
Yeah.